Welcome back to Frontier Firewood. Unfortunately today, Buddy and Susie's not here to help again. And Daisy, I think she's in the house where it's cooler. Last time I introduced the box, but I didn't go over the boxes inside the box to help organize. I have this one where I have random files and flat files, handles. The kits that were on sale have these things. I haven't really used them, but they're there if I need them. I have the ratcheting scrunch. I have a couple different longer screwdrivers. A couple different brands of scrunches. And who doesn't have a screwdriver that's been handed down forever? More flat files. Tape measure, if we go cut the cottonwoods, instead of marking out 16 inches, I just cut what I think the tractor can pick up. A couple different pliers for changing out the rim sprockets if I need to. A couple different tuning screwdrivers for the saws that are not M-tronic or auto tune. I got a hatchet and a hammer. A couple different cheap wedges that I found. And I just have some 2-in-1s. Sometimes I use them or sometimes I freehand, it just depends. I've also let Buddy mess around with these so he can, they have the angles on here and it helps him try to align it to get the right angles. Not to mention, if you do have a chain that's worn out, it hits the rakers at the same time. And then I have these boxes where they're empty right now. I need to grind some chains, but I do have some in there. Well, this is how I've started organizing my chains. I did it in my old box as well. Just another one with more chains in it. And I have 2 more in there, but it's the same concept. And then I have this where if I do dull a chain, I put all the dull chains in here, and then I'll take it back in and grind the chains. That's just a little bit more overview of my boxes inside my box. Appreciate you joining us. Today we're going to be using the MS400, ported by Charlie Briscoe. previously stated, this is just a hobby for me. I haven't decided if I'm going to move that whole pile over there. I originally had that idea before this was delivered, but he called me and said he was coming that week, so we just laid it back where I previously had it. It is a lot of wasted time moving the logs, but I like the height better and my wooden dowels to keep the logs from spinning. It makes a little bit of difference. I'm just going to finish out this cord, so I'm just moving a couple, but the last 2 logs that I grabbed, I forgot that I didn't have my counterweight on here. I built this a few years ago. I had some scrapped metal laying around, and I got this bar, and these metal pieces go clear in through the center, and it's all welded together. And then I even repatched the 55-gallon drum back together. And then I've seen other people, they have containers in there, but I just wanted a smooth piece of concrete so the water would run off. I even tried to bow it a little bit. And then on the back, when I pull forward, you can see that I built in a receiver hitch. And I've towed a trailer miles down the road and loaded it with cottonwood rounds and then drove it back. I do have my tires loaded with beet juice, but it wasn't enough for those 2 logs, so I'll just swap this out real quick. Thought I had to have the bolt in there. This finishes up this episode. We got another 1 cord cut. This time we used the Charlie Briscoe built MS400. Thanks for joining us. And remember who you are and what you stand for.